Hey folks, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. It's Monday morning. I'm driving to the office and I want to talk to you about cheap lawyers. Let me give you an example. Over the weekend I got a call from a potential client, and it was on a quite serious case. It was an aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. It's a second-degree felony and it's punishable by up to 15 years Florida State Prison. Because of the charge, it scores a certain amount of points on the Florida Punishment Code. What does that mean? It means every crime in the state of Florida is assigned a number of points. And once you have a certain amount of points, 44, you're looking at a mandatory prison sentence. So this charge scores 56 points, which is roughly 21.79 months. Who's doing the math? But that's what it is, right? Call it 22 months. So there's two ways that you can handle every criminal case. You can look at it as simply a plea bargain, where you walk in, you negotiate with the state attorney, and they give you a sentence. Well, when you're scoring 22 months of Florida State Prison, you kind of got to do a little bit more than just negotiate, right? You probably got to do some work to convince the prosecutor that your client shouldn't do roughly 22 months in a prison. How do you do that? Well, you work up the case. You humanize your client. You take depositions. You look at audio and video. You answer the questions of your client. You pull information from your client so you can use all of that in your negotiations with the state. If the state thinks that they're going to lose, you have a better shot of getting a better resolution, right? A better plea bargain. So, long story short, I call the client and I tell them about the two different ways to handle the case, and I tell them, look, usually on a second-degree felony, if I'm fighting it, you're basically looking at $10,000 to $12,000 plus cost. Costs are approximately $1,500 because remember, you're facing 15 years. Doesn't mean you're going to do 15, but it means that there's definitely incarceration on the table. Or I can simply negotiate and do a cheaper retainer agreement where I would charge $5,000, where I basically wouldn't do quite as much work, but I would negotiate with the prosecutor to try to get the sentence. But if unsuccessful in that negotiation, the client could then take the money that they've already paid and use it towards actually fighting the case in hopes of getting a much better resolution, right? A much better decision on their case. So I quote $5,000. Seems not so much, right? I mean, $5,000 is a lot of money, but considering what the penalties are, basically 2 years to 15 years. That potential client tells me, I've already spoken to another lawyer today, and they've told me $2,500. And I'm thinking, geez, like, that's analogous to me calling up one of my friends and saying, hey, you know what? I bought a new Audi A7 or BMW 6 Series or 7 Series or 8 Series. I paid $2,500 for it. Of course, my friend's going to go, really? How'd you do that? You know that there's something wrong, right? You can't do that case for $2,500 with any real expectation of getting a quality result. Look, you might get lucky in dealing with the prosecutor. You might get lucky, but the odds are against it. So in my mind, that attorney is already thinking, look, basically I'm going to collect $2,500. I'm going to go in. They're going to tell me no. And then I'm going to give them the real price, right? Bait and switch. Well, hey, they wouldn't do it. Basically, you're looking at, at least a year in jail, followed by some probation, and it'll be on your record for the rest of your life because now you'll be a convicted felon. So now I need another $10,000. It's called bait and switch, folks. Think about the services that you require. Think about the importance of the result, and then choose your attorney based on their training, their experience, the reviews, the additional legal education courses that they take, bar results. When I say bar results, I mean, you know, whether they have any complaints or anything to that effect. Do your research. You can't get someone that's going to truly work on a case for $2,500 when you're facing 15 years. To me, that's, I don't know. I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. I'm not the cheapest lawyer in South Florida. I'm not the cheapest lawyer in West Palm Beach. I'm not the cheapest attorney in Broward County, but I'm hardworking, passionate, and I'll give you my best.